I was thinking this morning about how people tend to buy lots and lots of presents for Christmas time. I don't really know how it's done anymore. With all the online shopping, our society loves Christmas. The presents, the whole joy of like, I'm gonna be opening up something and what's inside, and you get all excited. It really has become Christmas every day. Think about it. You have the nostalgia of looking back on your Christmases. Now you have the joy of opening up packages almost every day because Amazon brings it right to your doorstep. And you go, oh yay, this, even though you know what it is. If you read The Little House in the Big Woods, you have where the girls get handmade gifts. They don't have a lot of gifts to get candy. As a minimalist, my whole mindset of Christmas completely changed with how I celebrated. You think about different ways that love and warmth come around and what you remember the most. I haven't had decorations in probably 10 years, and that's okay. And a lot of people go like, what? And if you ask my kids if they feel loved, they won't put it through whatever presents they do or don't get. They will not put it in that at all. They'll say how loved they really truly are, and it has nothing to do with anything that we've given them physically. It's more of what we've given them with the attention that we show them, with the time that we put into them, with the devotion that we have in sharing our love with them. So why don't we really do presents? Last year I gave my kids a couple presents, but it was stuff that they needed. Now, my kids now, we got them all the clothes that they needed up until this point. So now what do? So something else that we've always done is trying to do something that's, as people would typically say in the minimalism world, a gift of experience. We have definitely had where we set some sort of special event that we do together, and that's very important to us. So we do have a couple special events in December that we're going to have with them. And we're excited about it. It's gonna be fun. Why is it that we have to give physical presents to our children every year? Do you really have to? When I was a newer mom, there was someone that gave us presents that were for their kid that we then gave to our kids. And I cried. And now I'm thinking like, it wasn't that important. They didn't really need those things. It would have been fine. This pressure is put on our society that we have to spend, that we have to make sure we get something for our kids so they feel special and feel loved. It's a lie. That you don't have to. What can we do to change the culture today? Are gifts a bad thing? No. I think gifts are wonderful. Can we make handmade gifts? Can we do something with thrifted items and recreate something? I watched a video the other day actually of someone, they bought some vintage teacups and they were saying, oh, we can make candles out of this. That's brilliant. And then you re-gift it. You're saving money, you're being crafty, and you're going to make someone go like, wow, this is beautiful. Something like that. Do something with your own mind, something that comes from the heart. Maybe you want to make something with food. Have that as a present. So for kids, they are hard to satisfy, especially if you've been raising them in a way where they think that presents are what they need. So my children, sometimes we buy them like a video game that they would share. Many times if you get a whole bunch of gifts for your child, they'll love it for a limited amount of time. It will be an excitement, an enjoyable thing for such a short period of time that give it a few months, they won't be touching it. They won't really care. I think about some of the toys I did get. Polly Pocket, for instance, this plastic thing that opens up with a little girl inside. You get bored with that fast. And by the time I had it for a year, I barely opened that up, didn't at all. Kids don't really need a lot. And you think that they do, but they don't. And you only think that they do because you have these advertisements going at you every 3 or 4 ads as you scroll through your Instagram or your Facebook. Hey, we know your algorithm. We know what you want. Buy this. And that's where I'm trying to say that things have to be done differently now. We need to research where our products come from. We need to see this ad came in for this company. I never heard of this. Let's research this company real quick. Let's go to their website. Do they have anything about where their items are made, how sustainably it might be made? Do they show the people that create their items? Do they have a story about those people? If you don't really see anything about that, chances are it's slave labor. And then you could go beyond that. I actually, the other day, I was thinking about getting these shoes for my toddler because he's walking now. And I was trying to figure out, I know someone that got something and they looked really cute. So she sent me a link. And when I'm researching it, I don't see any information. So I emailed them. I'm interested in learning more about your product. What does the supply chain look like for your product? Who made these? What kind of materials do you use? What are these materials made of, first off, because you don't have any information on your website. And I'm very curious about the ethics behind your product and the sustainable practices. The response I got was, we're sorry you had trouble with your order. We'll do our best to track it down for you. I responded to that, did you read my message? It had nothing to do with an order. I didn't even order anything. I stated that I was interested in your product and I wanted to learn more information. Here was my original message. No response after that. Right away, I know it's slave labor, but it's for these cute babies. And so, when you're going shopping for your kids, you go, oh, but it's so cute. You don't think about the fact that there might be someone that made that item that was harmed, that is working tirelessly for you to feel happy for however long you need it, or for the need that you need it for a brief time. Like, how long before my toddler would outgrow those shoes anyway? And before they end up in a landfill. So I just recently watched a documentary called Buy Now, and they talk about throughout it how we need to find out the end of life, and we need to think about the end of life. And I disagree. We need to think about the before life and the end of life for every product. We need to know the entire journey that it has taken. And it will get us thinking, and it will get us to care more about what we get, why we get it, and how long we're going to use it for, and then what do we do. Instead, I thrifted shoes for my son. So now he has 2 pairs of $2 used shoes that some kid used for 3 months. And originally they probably cost them $25. My Christian perspective, real quick on this, because I know there are so many Christians that have been, so Jesus is the reason for the season. Jesus did not need all of this stuff. He had nowhere to lay his head, it says in the scripture. He did not need anything. He even said to people, sell all your items and follow me. This idea of consumerism and materialism is not what Jesus had given as a message. He was a gift to the world, but he doesn't want us to spend money on things that are not necessary. Now, are you giving to the poor through making gifts through there are things like you could gift goats to people in a third world country that need to make a living so they can milk their goats and provide for the community in such a way. Doing sort of things like that. I love that. That is a practical gift. Find ways to have practical gifts. That sounds more like the gospel put into play to help the oppressed, to think about the widow, to think about the orphan, to think about setting the captives free. That is Jesus being the reason for the season. I am trying to get people to think about the processing of their items and the fact that if Jesus is the reason for the season, you will think of that journey of your item. Who is making it? Do you care for those people? The end life. So many of these items are ending up in the sea. As a woman in her 40s, I'm urging the young people, the young mothers, you are raising your children. You're thinking about what is right. Maybe you're struggling. I have been there, struggling to support the needs of my children and wanting to gift them with nice things. You don't have to do that. You could think of new things to do with your family. Go do something fun together. Maybe you could go ice skating and put your money instead towards that. You could just have a movie night with hot chocolate. So instead of buying these actual presents for your children, you could create memories that they're going to go, oh, I remember that one Christmas, we bought fish for a village so they can provide food for everyone. Something like that. It's a beautiful thing. And it teaches the gospel. It teaches that we are caring for people that maybe have nothing. And instead focus on reading the scriptures together as a family. We are to think about how Jesus came to save the world, starting as a baby who had nothing, but gave us everything. Let's focus on the time we have with people that we love. Thanks for sticking around, and I hope that you have a blessed season. Thank you.